What's going on, people? It's your boy Tops back again for another Tops in the Morning show. Big up everyone in the building. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to become a member, it is pinned at the top of the chat. 99p, all of that good stuff. So yeah, needs to get into today's or this morning's transfer news, all of that good stuff. Big up Carlos in the building. Man said, hey, Tick, Simmons coming soon. Garnacho time. And then, yeah, summer is done. That would be a very, very productive summer for Chelsea, getting a lot of players in, a lot of players that are obviously young, up and coming, and also a lot of attacking players. Basically, a whole new attack from last season because considering probably Nicholas Jackson's going to be third choice now. Sancho's gone back. Modric's not going to be in part of the squad anymore. Some changes as well to the team. Obviously, you've sold Madueke as well. So, yeah, a lot of changes to that starting lineup or that starting squad attacking-wise for Chelsea. But, yeah, let's get into, obviously, Liverpool's kind of a wage agreement struck for, obviously, Newcastle star Alexander Isak. Says Liverpool are still chasing a blockbuster move for Newcastle forward Alexander Isak. So Isak will reportedly become one of Liverpool's highest earners if he completes a move to Anfield this summer. The rest have been chasing Isak's signature for the number of weeks, having initially been told by Newcastle that he was not for sale under any circumstances. They responded by switching their focus to move for Hugo Ekitike and wasted no time in wrapping up that deal. Since emerged that Liverpool are still eager to land Isak despite getting Ekitike. He says he was desperate to force a move away from Newcastle. He has not travelled with the Magpies squad on their preseason tour and is reported to be training on his own. The situation is yet to be resolved itself yet, but Liverpool are thought to be making progress behind the scenes. So, yeah, I reckon between this time next week, within the next week or so, I think Liverpool will make a bid, an opening bid. But the thing with Liverpool as well, which I noticed with their negotiation skills, when they kind of obviously go in for a player, they normally kind of bid close to what the kind of team wants anyway. It's not really kind of week out, 3 or 4 or 5 week out drawn that kind of scenario where they're lowballing them and they go a little bit higher. It is normally like, okay, you want 150, for example, we'll give you 130, which is pretty much near what we really want. Put a couple of add-ons on there, and then the jobs are good and kind of thing. So, yeah, I do think they're probably weighing up a bit. Obviously, Diaz has officially been sold now. He's on his ways out the door. Diaz has left Liverpool. He now plays for Bayern Munich. So that's the £65 million piece of money there, right there and then, that they've got in their disposal, man. So yeah, going to be very interesting to see when they trigger. I don't know if they're going to wait to obviously sell Nunes as well, and then obviously going for Isak, or probably going for Isak straight away. Big up Shanito TV. My Man United hijack Chanzo. Leipzig is desperate to sell anyone right now. It's not a hijack, bro. Tesco has no choice anymore. No, I'm talking about them hijacking Newcastle, bro. Because again, Newcastle were seen to be firm favourites to get his signature for the simple fact that they need to sell Isak, or Isak wants to leave, and they were in pole position. It looked like at the start of the week he was going to go to Newcastle. Newcastle obviously were making it clear that they wanted to bid £60+ million for him. But obviously reports came out later on that apparently his preference is Manchester United over Newcastle, which is, bro, this Newcastle transfer window is a Hall of Shame transfer window. I can't even lie, man. This might be pound for pound, bar for bar, the worst transfer window a club has ever received. Not only the transfer window, I think they've lost every preseason game. And on top of that, their star player wants to leave. They can't get any of their targets. They're losing all the games. Like, it's crazy. And they've got Champions League football as well. So it's not like it's a case where they're not in the Champions League. They have got Champions League football too on top of that, man. But big up for your comment, as always, bro. Big up 7 on DR says, good morning, Tops. The chat fire. Gyökeres might start today, or even a cameo. Looking forward to it. Yeah, man. I reckon Havertz is going to start. But yeah, as long as Gyökeres gets on the pitch, again, I'm looking forward to seeing how he obviously plays. Again, it's early days. It's going to be his first game, literally first game with the team. So again, I'm supposed there's going to be a few kind of points where we need to get obviously used to how he plays. Again, he's our only one recognized striker, but two, probably the only forward player that makes those kind of diagonal runs into space, into the channel. So yeah, we're gonna have to accommodate that of his game, obviously, for the rest of the team. So this is why I always said it was very important to do this and get him done in pre-season. You don't want to be doing this in the Premier League, especially with the obviously hard start Arsenal have got, having Man United first away from home, then Liverpool third, Manchester City, I think, 5th or 4th, and then Newcastle 6th or after that. So yeah, very, very difficult. But yeah, hopefully he can get used to the team. Big up Carlos says Newcastle still have a solid squad though. That's the only positive. Striker is techie now. Whistler and Jackson, I can because he happening, but then AFCON. Oh, brother, I forgot about AFCON, man. This is what I'm saying. It's peak, you know. Yeah, nah, you know what it is? I feel like with Newcastle, yeah, and they have got a decent squad if they weren't in the Champions League as well. We've seen it only a couple of seasons ago. When they were in the Champions League, they were struggling in the league, man. They ain't got the squad depth to do both in it. Because obviously, again, in the Champions League, you have to play your best team if you want to win the games, because the games obviously are normally quite difficult, especially now with obviously the extra obviously couple of games where you're playing bigger and better teams. So if you want to get in a position where you're qualifying or you're not down near the bottom and potentially getting relegated out of obviously the competition early on, you got to play Tonali, Bruno, and Joe Linton. You got to play them Wednesday, and then in the Premier League, you got to play them Saturday, because again, they're kind of backup midfielders, aren't the midfielders that you really can put in and obviously make sure they obviously win certain games. So yeah, man, I think squad depth wise, that's what I think they needed to do. Obviously, it's gone all. I think they've tried to do it. They've tried to get in João Pedro. They obviously inquired about Mbuemo. They've inquired about getting more attacking options, but they're just not managed to get them over the line. But yeah, I feel like adding a quality squad to really compete in both competitions, so you're not having to pick between Premier League and Champions League, I think it was the key thing for them. But yeah, that's without Isak leaving. That's what obviously I thought Isak was going to stay at least for one more season and then potentially go next season. But yeah, man, I think that striker situation is tough, man. I said for clubs that have not got their number 9 in, bro, it's going to be a scramble, man. Again, you're looking at the same kind of heads and the same kind of obviously people, Sesko, Watkins. Like these are kind of the same names that kind of get brought up every single time when a team needs a striker. And Sesko might be on his way to Man United if, again, depending if they can probably sell a few players in the meantime. But I feel like he is willing to wait for them, considering he's named them their number 1 target. So yeah, very difficult, man. It says they've got rid of their sporting director Paul Mitchell, so currently don't have one. That sounds really bad. And this is why I say, guys, having a competent sporting director, is very crucial in terms of your recruitment, especially during the summer transfer window. Because again, you've seen it with Arsenal. We didn't have a proper one in charge in January. Edu left, obviously, after the start of the season. We didn't have a proper one in place. We had someone called Jason Otto, who was very inexperienced. And look what happened. We didn't end up signing anyone, even though we probably, we definitely should have signed at least a forward to obviously accommodate Saka's torn hamstring. Jesus having an ACL out for 10, 11 months. So yeah, I think it's very important to have a proper sporting director that knows what they're doing. To obviously get some deals over the line and obviously make sure you get your first team targets. But yeah, it is looking bleak for Newcastle, man. I don't think they're going to get relegated or anything like that. But obviously, this is kind of the season where you're looking at them thinking, can they actually elevate another level? Like you've got your trophy, you've won, you've got that winning mentality in the dressing room, you've won the League Cup, you've beaten Arsenal, you've beaten Liverpool in the final, so you've beaten the hard teams to win it. So you definitely deserve to win the trophy. And you've qualified for the Champions League in the same season. So now it's time. Look, can we solidify our status in the Champions League and then go on to maybe compete in the FA Cup now or something like that? So yeah, it just seems like it could be a major step backwards, considering they're going to lose a massive player in Isak. And in the kind of the replacement department, I've seen that they're linked with Muniz and from Fulham. And no disrespect to Muniz, he's a solid Premier League striker, but again, you kind of need a star name. You kind of need a potential kind of player, similar to what you got when you got Isak in that forward line, or someone that's very competent to really kind of provide the goals. Because again, 20 Premier League goals is hard to get. Like, that's nothing to be sniffed at. And Isak was getting that season in, season out, and he was getting some injury problems as well. So to replace that, it's going to probably take more than one player. Sorry, I know they potentially could get Wisser in, who again, he's obviously got 19 Premier League goals himself. So yeah, can't really sleep on him. But at the same time, it's like, bro, with him going AFCON, potentially, I think he is. I think Congo are in it. Yeah, it could be very techie, man. Could be very techie. But yeah, obviously going on with the article, it says they've already reached a verbal agreement on personal terms with Isak, according to Sky Germany. The report states that he will sign a contract until the summer of 2031. So big 6-year deal, if Liverpool succeed in agreeing a transfer fee with Newcastle. It's claimed that Isak will become one of the club's highest paid players, earning a similar salary to Ikatike's on 250. Oh my lordy lord. That is mad. I didn't even know that, fam. The latter is reportedly taking home around 250k, putting him third on the list behind Mo Salah and brother. I need to double check this, man. Surely not. Surely my man's not on 250. That is mental. He's on one of verts, bro. That is mental. The reports adds that Liverpool are trying to find a breakthrough to club. Talks with Newcastle. It has been claimed by the Evening Standard that the Magpies chief have privately set He's asking price at a whopping 150. Yeah, to be fair, that's been pretty vocal that they were always going to want 150 million pounds. I feel like that was trying to scare off a couple of people, but at the same time, I think Liverpool have been like, you know what, we'll pay it. I think they've been pretty shocked by that. It remains to be seen if his transfer request will lower the demand, with Isak clearly unsettled with the current surroundings. So yeah, he is obviously very unsettled at the minute. He's not training with the team. He's not even gone on the tour. He's trying to push for a move. I feel like Liverpool have probably told him, listen, look, if you want to get this move, man, obviously Newcastle don't want to sell you. You got to make it very clear that you want to be out of here. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I feel like he's definitely trying to push for that kind of move as well, man. Big up everyone in the building, man. Make sure you guys like on the video and subscribe as well. Did a big up 7R said tops. Did I hear that correct? When you said that Man United is Sesko's preference? Yeah, according to reports, man. I'll definitely get into it in a bit, bro. And they said Homie agreed personal terms with us, but later on discovered he wanted a release clause included as well. Yeah, bro. I feel like his agent in terms of and Leipzig as well. I feel like they were trying to play a hardball. I think they underestimated probably how Arsenal really negotiate in the transfer window, because obviously with Edu, it's literally been one player focus. If we don't get that player, we're going to try it as hard as we can, and potentially if we don't get the player, we don't get anyone kind of vibe. Whereas obviously now Andre Burt is doing the we kind of go for multiple players at the same time, and whoever is offering the best deal, we'll just go with that player. Gives us a little bit more leverage, and obviously allows us not to get bullied in the transfer market. So yeah, and also as well with the last deal as well with Sesko, they still want about, I think I read it, they still want about 75 million euros excluding add-ons. So you're talking about 90 million euros, man, which is about what, 80 million pounds or something like that, 82 million pounds. So that's still a lot of money for a 23-year-old who, let's be frank, has not really proven too much in the Bundesliga in terms of being a clinical striker. And people made a good point. Obviously, I think yesterday in my chat, when's the last kind of, apart from Haaland, because again, he's kind of a freak, he was scoring everywhere. When is the last kind of Bundesliga striker that's come into the league and really just banged straight away? Obviously, they've got Ikitike. Obviously, Liverpool have, and now you're looking at Sesko as well coming from the Bundesliga. I think the last one I can remember is Aubameyang, and obviously, again, he was a guy that was scoring regularly in the Champions League as well. So I don't know, man. And look how long ago that was. I was like 2018. So yeah, that Bundesliga league, man, it is very hot and cold. Like some of the strikers that come here, who are obviously having a good season there. You look at Kai Havertz, you've got Timo Werner as just two examples. If they come to England and they get maximum 10, 12, 13 goals in the league, man, and it's not really a prolific kind of goal scoring tally. Even Sancho was getting 20 goals in the Bundesliga. He come to England, and I think the most he's got is like 6 or 7. So yeah, obviously it doesn't always work for every single person in terms of scoring goals and that, but it's definitely different leagues. But yeah, it says Liverpool can finally tempt Newcastle into cashing in on their cash prize asset. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that, man, if they end up catching in on their prize asset, man. But yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting, man. Big up everyone in the building, man. Make sure you guys like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Big up Carlos, who says there's strikers out there. Samu, oh yeah, but I forgot about Boniface, to be fair. Won't be as established as he's at, but they'll find someone. Nunes, Frodar. You know what? Evan Nilsson, bro, is calm. I rate him, innit? I can't remember who it was that said they didn't rate him. I rate him. I think he's good, to be fair. So that wouldn't even be a bad shout. I'll be real. I think he's better than forget Nunes, man. Nunes is a standard striker, man. But to be fair, out of Nunes and Jimenez, I don't know. I think it's a toss up because Jimenez in his A game prime at Wolves, man, was on work. He was smashing work, man, for them, man. But yeah, since that head injury, he's gone a bit left. But yeah, it's crazy. I said, nah, ran. That's nasty work, bro. I said, ran it up to 350 G bonuses and that. That's nasty. That's so nasty, and that. Nah, that's great, bro. The wages are crazy, man. I'll be real. Like, again, to come in on 250 is kind of mad. I need to double check if that's real, bro. Because again, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's real, to be fair. Because again, he's literally just come from the Bundesliga, where he's not going to be on that much, man. Surely not in Frankfurt, bro. So that's a massive jump. That's like an unnecessarily massive jump. Where I'm sure if you offered him a bit less, he probably still would have moved. Like, that's crazy money. But yeah, big up everyone in the building, man. Make sure you guys like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new, all of that good stuff. But yeah, man, that's kind of crazy money still. I need to definitely double check that. I will in a minute. We got everyone in the comments, man. It says that Isak signing a 6-year death row contract. Obviously, Chelsea used to get cornered by obviously the long contracts, 8-year, 9-year, 6-year, 5-year, 7-year, whatever. And it looks like people are following suit, to be fair. It looks like they are following suit with these long contracts, so you don't have to worry about them running down a contract down, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah, they might have been onto something, man. They might have been onto something. Big up Luis Garcia. It says, big up yourself. It says, Liverpool make a major Isak breakthrough. Barcelona received 80 million euros. Xavi offer. Oh, damn. With a laughing emoji. I said, Mateo for Newcastle, big up RS. That's not a bad shout, to be fair. That's not a bad shout. Again, Mateo, Crystal Palace did reject a 30 million, I don't know if it was pound or euro bid from Atlanta yesterday for Mateta. So it does seem like, listen, Crystal Palace, again, if we talk about Newcastle, Crystal Palace is another one, man. Obviously getting demoted to the Conference League. And obviously I didn't realize until last week that Nottingham Forest have actually been promoted to the Europa League. So they've actually benefited off the whole kind of drama with the dual ownership and stuff like that Crystal Palace are going through. So yeah, they'll be in the Europa League as it stands. Yeah, that whole kind of fiasco, the fact that Gay, he's got 1 year left. Eze's looking like he's going to move to Arsenal potentially. Mateta and Wharton have been obviously linked with moves away as well. So yeah, potentially they could lose all their star players as well, man. So it's definitely another one to look out for as well. Because, bro, if they lose all those players, man, it's very, very tricky, man. Very tricky. But yeah, man, big up everyone in the building, man. Big up Luis Garcia. Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins and Fulham's Muniz have been added to the shortlist of strikers. Newcastle will target if Sesko chooses Manchester United over them, with a laughing emoji. Yeah, bro. This must be their, remember, their first choice was Ekitike and to keep Isak. Now it's gone from potentially, well, definitely losing Ekitike, he's gone to Liverpool, potentially losing Isak to Liverpool as well, trying to get Sesko losing out to Man United for Sesko. Then you're looking at, like Carlos said, Nicholas Jackson. You're looking at the likes of Samu, or obviously Ollie Watkins is a weird one, because I'm thinking if Ollie Watkins leaves, Aston Villa, they haven't even got that a load of forwards now. At one point, they had Rashford, essentially, and all these guys. Now they've obviously gone to other clubs. Duran's obviously been sold to Saudi, and now he's obviously at Fenerbahce. They've only really got Ollie Watkins as their first actual official top tier striker. If they sell him, they're going to have to get a replacement in ASAP, or who's going to score the goals? Like, again, they've got other good midfield players, of course, but yeah, man, it's looking a bit bleak for them as well. So I don't know, man. It's crazy, man. Big up Carlos. He says, I saw Sky do their typical twerking sessions are how Liverpool are ran. So greatly, yeah, Chelsea have made the most money from transfer incoming. Where's our PR? Listen, man, when it comes to those kind of publications, man, they definitely do they heavily favor Liverpool and Man United. I don't know whether it's because obviously the majority of the pundits that work there are Liverpool and Man United, but yeah, the way they're kind of what they push out in terms of how they're perceived is definitely different compared to other clubs, especially with how bad Man United have been. I feel like the pylon on Man United has been nowhere near compared to when Arsenal were down there, when Chelsea were down there. So yeah, I think it's definitely different for sure. But yeah, I'm pretty much used to it, man. Pretty much used to it. Sorry. They wanted to kill us. Says Carlos. Liverpool's rep even briefed Ornstein to praise the. Yeah, I caught that as well. That line about Richard Hughes, in it. Bro, I've never heard that ever in like an Ornstein Bomber tweet where they praise the sporting director right at the end. They might say it was the sporting director's preference to get, or the manager's preference to get said player. Like I remember when he was on about Gyökeres, he did mention, it was Andre Berta's obviously preference to get him or whatever. But yeah, to praise, because obviously it's such a short window as well. So it's like it's just a bit out of left field, really. Just to justify their spending, you can't fool me, says Carlos. Emery can work with any forward. Yeah, listen, in terms of who they're going to get in, and as long as they get someone in, I think they need a few people, because they're in the Europa League as well. Obviously, everyone knows playing Europe and obviously in the league, to do well in both, man, you need to have a decent squad to be able to rotate, because one man can't play Thursday, Sunday, bro. I remember when obviously we were in it, and brother, we had to rotate with Aubameyang and Lacazette all the fucking time, man. Because again, and with Emery as the manager, actually, because yeah, man, it was just too much for one man to obviously play 90 minutes here, travel all the way to Slovakia, play 90 minutes there, come all the way back, play West Ham away, come all the, you know what I'm saying? It's long. So yeah, man, it's ideal that you obviously got a bit of squad depth so you can rotate in those kind of European games. And again, he's a guy that knows what he's doing in Europa League. Got to 5 Europa League finals, won 4 of them. So yeah, I think potentially he's probably setting up and gearing up for the fact that they potentially need some more bodies in there to kind of compete and try and get back into the Champions League with either winning the Europa League or obviously league position as well. Big up Luis Garcia. It says more on Benjamin Sesko. Manchester United are not in the position to meet as yet Benjamin Sesko's valuation. The player also wants to play in the Champions League and has verbally agreed personal terms with Newcastle. So a bit of conflicting reports there. Obviously, it was reported that Man United were in pole position to get Sesko. I think it was Ornstein. Let me see what the tweet said. Big up everyone in the building, man. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new as well, people. But yeah, obviously Ornstein did drop a bomber yesterday. He said RB Leipzig's asking price for Benjamin Sesko is 75 million euros guaranteed plus add-ons. And bro, they are asking for a lot, you know. I can't even lie. Normally it's either one or the other. Normally it's either add-ons or a percentage of a future sale, like a sell-on clause or whatever. They want all of it. They want brother, 75 million guaranteed. Million euros guaranteed is about 65, 66, 67 million pounds, something like that. Plus add-ons, which is probably going to be 10 to 15. So you're talking about 80 million pounds, all in all, with a percentage of a future sale. Fee expectation communicated to suitors for the 22-year-old. Newcastle and Man United pursuing, but no agreements yet with Leipzig. Yeah, I don't think he's worth that at all, man. That's quite a lot of money. I'll be real. That's quite a lot of money, man. But yeah, whether that's going to come to fruition, I'm not too sure. I feel like, again, Man United don't want to pay that either. Especially having paid extra than they wanted to pay. Remember, they went in with I think it was like a 55, 56 million pound bid, something like that for Mbeumo to begin with, and ended up paying 71 all in all. So yeah, that's probably going to be a few extra 10 million that potentially they could use for this deal that maybe they don't have anymore. And also, they've not sold anyone yet. Like, again, there's been rumors coming out saying they don't actually necessarily need to sell. They would like to, considering obviously they've got a lot of players on wages that they need to get out the door. But at the same time, it's like, brother, at some point, you're going to have to try and get rid of some of these players that you don't rate. And that, so, yeah, it's all up in the air, really, I think. All up in the air, man. Pick up everyone in the building. Make sure you guys like up the video and subscribe. Luis Garcia, Man United attempted to hijack, but it appears they are set to fail. Damn, that could be very embarrassing as well. Big up RS is a Liverpool making second record transfer if Isak comes in. Chelsea buys are good, but expected no surprise deals. But maybe that's why Edwards and Hughes are getting a bit more praise. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a great point that I think Dom made. Big up Dom, obviously yesterday. In terms of Liverpool fans, are you actually happy with all the business you've got done? Because again, it does seem like if you don't get centre back in, I mean, a DM maybe you could get away with. But I feel like it's dependent on who you've got there to play on a regular basis. Maybe Szoboszlai can drop back there. Now you've got Wirtz, so you just have to play number 10 as much. But yeah, that centre-back position, man, I feel like that's definitely crucial. I think you definitely got to get someone in. I think you will. I think you'll get Gay in. But yeah, that's definitely an area you have to improve on top of what you're doing. Give Emery Andy Carroll and he gets 20 goals. Bro, I'm telling you, man. Listen, he loves. Listen, that's probably one of his biggest traits for sure. Is getting the best out of strikers. I remember when obviously Aubameyang and Lacazette were also, and he was there. I think that combined they got something like 82 GA together, just them two alone, man, which is crazy. 2 players nearly getting 100 GA, man. It's crazy. So yeah, in one season. So yeah, he definitely could get the best out of strikers when you obviously give him the tools to do that. So yeah, as long as he gets the money, then he I think in terms of got scoring goals, I think Aston Villa will be all right. Big up Chris, my brother, man. What you telling me, man? Hopefully you are well. Hopefully you're good, bro. So big up, mate. Hope you're well. I'm all good, my brother. Hopefully you are good as well. I think United are going to pull out of Sesko. I hope so. I want him to go at Newcastle. LOL. Newcastle will pay it. They're desperate. Yeah, I think Newcastle will definitely pay it for sure. I think they're kind of sensing the kind of mood around the kind of the team and the kind because. Let's be honest, this should be a positive and happy kind of time for Newcastle, considering they're back in the Champions League, as well as obviously the new format, 8 games. The likelihood they're going to get a Bayern Munich, they're going to get a PSG, they're going to get Real Madrid, a Barcelona, they're going to get at least 2 of those kind of big name teams, which again, playing them at St. James's Park, the atmosphere is going to be rampant. You remember how they played PSG a couple of years ago, smashed them 4-1 at their ground, should have beat them away as well, really, or at least got a draw. I think they got robbed. So no, I think it was a draw, but they should have won the game. But yeah, so yeah, for those big games, I think they'll be up for it. But around the kind of the St. James's kind of atmosphere, it's kind of doom and gloom, considering they're going to sell their best player, they can't get their targets, they're losing the preseason game. So yeah, I think that's definitely having an effect for sure. Sesko is that Miss Piggy who's fallen to attract a man at the club and has settled for a man who always gets rejected, which is Newcastle. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. We got Carlos. He says it's 16.5 mil for Sesko plus add-ons, considering 50 mil is the starting point these days. I think that's a good price. I mean, again, it's one of those ones where when you're looking at strikers and you're thinking, okay, are you basically, what are you actually paying for? Are you paying for potential? That's a lot for me. That's a lot of potential that you're paying for, in my opinion, because again, he's not like he's got a backtrack record of scoring a plethora of goals throughout, obviously, his career. There's a lot of seasons where, again, he is facilitated for a bender as well. It definitely did last season, but at the same time, can he get 20 goals? Can he get 30 goals? Can he do that? Obviously, he can. Obviously, there's a possibility he can in it, but again, for me, it's still a lot. Even with the Ekatike money, I still think that's a lot of money as well. And I think that's probably even a bit worse because he's only had one season. At least you could say Sesko's been in the limelight a couple of seasons. Ikitike has literally had one season where he got, was it 15 league goals or whatever? And he went for 8 million as well. So maybe that's the going price. Maybe that's the going price for guys that are that age from the Bundesliga as well. But yeah, I think you are hoping on a lot of potential. And I think, yeah, if he doesn't come to fruition and doesn't start performing straight away, I think people are going to be on him. Bit similar to Rasmus Højlund in a way. Again, not as bad because, again, Højlund, I think, only got like 7 or 8 goals in Serie A. So even he was a bit worse. But again, they paid for a lot of potential, and obviously the potential's not come to fruition. So yeah, it's always a risk, man. But again, there's not a lot of striker options, if I'm being honest. So yeah, but it's interesting. Like, would you pay that for Sesko or potentially pay 40 for Mateta, for example? Like, I'd rather just get Mateta, if I'm being honest. Prem proven, know what you're going to get. Maybe the ceiling and the potential's not as big, but bro, at this moment in time, Man United just need someone that knows what they're doing, competent, knows the league, and can kick on from there. Not to say that Sesko can't be bought and it can't be obviously a good player. There is a potential that definitely can happen. But again, it's just whether if you're going to be doing more business with obviously getting more players in, is he, because they're basically playing 200 plus mil for their front line, basically. They've already spent 71 on Mbuemo. They've already spent 62 on Cunha. This is going to be another 80, which is obviously is needed for them to improve their front line. But when you look at other areas, like the keeper and the centre back and obviously stuff like that, it might be potential that they could obviously save a bit of money, spending their money elsewhere. Big up Chris says I'm already getting bored of Isak news. The journalists are just saying the same thing from weeks ago. Nothing has changed. Yeah, I think, bro, with these kind of deals, bro, I think it's all dependent on when obviously players get their replacements in. I think you see the similar thing with Chris Palace and Eze. We've seen it with Gyökeres and Sporting. The reason that was held up is because they didn't have a striker to come in. As soon as Luis Suarez got nearly over the line, that's when they released him in it. So it's always the case, bro, with these kind of big kind of starting players. Yeah, you have to kind of wait until they get a replacement in before they kind of sanction any move. So if from a Liverpool's perspective, you kind of want them to get Sesko because, again, that would quicken up the move probably for Isak. With this all kind of haggling and Sesko not knowing where he wants to go, it kind of prolongs, obviously, the Isak deal. But I do feel like in the end, you probably will get Isak, maybe a bit later than anticipated, but I think you will get him. Szoboszlai will be in the pivot more now. We can do with our DM this year, and we'll bring in centre back. That is obvious. Says RS. Carlos says, can't lie, bro. Ornstein will slip the pound note in the brown envelope to PR your sporting directors. You've had a Galactico window and tried to justify it. Who do we have to justify it to? The world. You're having a 400 million plus transfer window. Yeah, this is unprecedented. Like, this is not a window that everyone's used to seeing. You getting, like you said, breaking the transfer record twice in the same window is mad. That's never been done before, surely. And not this kind of massive numbers anyway. So yeah, I think, listen, you did good in the sales, but I feel like maybe it was like a bargaining tool as well. Because again, people are looking from the outside thinking, how are you affording all these kind of signings? Well, the fact that you put in Richard Hughes has obviously done loads of sales, which kind of what Colin says, kind of justifies you spending this amount of money in it rather than you just going crazy and people are thinking, how are they spending 300, 400 million, not thinking or taking into account that you're actually selling quite a lot of players for a decent amount. So your actual net spend is actually smaller than the initial 300, 400 million. So yeah, big up Luis Garcia says Newcastle are tracking Ollie Watkins. Aston Villa consider him for sale, or would be open to letting him go if a suitable bid arrives. Sesko is heading to Newcastle. Newcastle have no chance. Damn. Crazy. Sorry, Man United have no chance. So yeah, so there's a lot of conflicting reports, man. So there, that's Newcastle tracking Ollie Watkins. Yeah, crazy. A big old Carlos says Sabozo against Japan as a DM in the Prem and Champions League. X movies will be made. Yeah, I don't think it's an official DM as well. Jackson to Villa. Ikitike is willing to be a squad player behind Isak for a bit. We couldn't get another finished article to sit behind Isak. Says RS. Big up Carlos. He says 85 mil on that is nasty work. I said HSM Ikitiki Toki to be a squad player when there's a World Cup next season. Miss me with it with a laughing emoji. Liverpool sort out the two centre backs and CDM. Yeah, again, that's kind of the worry. Big up yourself, AR. That's kind of the worry about obviously Liverpool in terms of covering that CDM and centre back positions, because again, they are a little bit light in terms of personnel there. Like again, if Gravenberch gets a long-term injury, you are looking at Endo really to kind of cover for maybe like a majority of the season, because again, Szoboszlai can play there. But I don't know, man. I don't know if that's his preferred position, if I'm being honest. But yeah, big RS, it says Chelsea spent 438 million in one window. It's still the record. And Chelsea was also in for Ikitike. What happened? Oh yeah, Ikitike rejected Chelsea. RS, exactly. We got cooked for it. Yeah, they did get cooked for it, to be fair. If we sign Javi as a CDM, it will be a great signing. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be, I don't know, man. Potentially, if you sell some more players, maybe if you sell like a Harvey Elliott, maybe if you sell a midfield option, then that obviously opens the door for you to get another midfielder in. We went for João Pedro and see what he did for us in the 2 games. And did your owners care about the cooking or just the fans? LOL. I think basically trying to say, like, obviously the expectations are a bit different in terms of they got cooked for spending a load of money, but you are spending pretty much the exact same or near enough the same. And because you're getting sales, you're getting more praise for a Galactico window rather than obviously when they spend a load of money. Is a bit different. So yeah, but obviously it's all about perspective in it, depending on if you're a Chelsea fan, Liverpool fan, or whatnot. How you obviously look at the overall perspective of other fans looking at your club as well. So yeah, there's definitely a lot to take in there for sure. But big up everyone in the building, man. Make sure you guys like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, on to the next article. It says Man United make Benjamin Sesko progress after flying out for secret talks in a huge transfer twist. Man United are advancing on a deal to sign Benjamin Sesko after secret talks in Germany. According to widespread reports, RB Leipzig striker Sesko is now United's first choice striker target this summer and are confident of beating rivals Newcastle to his signature. Like I said, it didn't come out. I can't remember. I think it might have been Sam C that came out and said that Sesko's preference is going to be Manchester United over Newcastle. So that could potentially make an issue for obviously Newcastle getting a top tier striker in, ready for the season, man. Because again, you're looking at the time left. We got like 2 weeks left before the season starts, man. Obviously, Sam says Benjamin Sesko is open to a move to Manchester United, despite the club missing out on European football next season. United have been scouting this Slovenian striker for the past 3 years and have remained in contact with him throughout this season, or throughout the year, sorry. While also held negotiations with Sesko, they ultimately decided to pursue Victor Gyökeres instead, with talks for Sesko reportedly described as particularly complicated. So yeah, a lot of talk about obviously him wanting a release clause, a lot of wages, obviously his agent getting a fee, and then obviously negotiating with Leipzig, who they still want their 90 million kind of euros kind of thing. So yeah, definitely, man. I reported that despite interest from elsewhere, a source says Sesko would favour a move to Old Trafford over other destinations. So yeah, that's obviously Sam C confirming it as well. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see if that's obviously going to be true in the case. United tried and failed with a late move for Victor Gyökeres, who head coach Ruben Amorim worked with at Sporting, but the striker was only interested in joining Arsenal. He completed the £64 million move last week. After exploring a deal for Ollie Watkins, as reported by the Telegraph, United have now settled on Sesko, and this week sent a delegation out to Germany to open formal talks with Leipzig. According to journalist Ben Jacobs reporting for TalkSport, United's director of recruitment, Christian Vivel, is leading the talks, having joined Matt Hargreaves, director of football negotiations. So apparently they've got a team out there in Germany trying to negotiate this deal. Again, I'm assuming they're going to try and get the price down, and I suppose Leipzig are still in a strong position to an extent. It's still a month over for the transfer window till it's completed. So you probably end up getting panicked or worried if you're Leipzig that you haven't sold the player, because they do need the money. That has definitely been reported before. Probably in the last couple of weeks of the transfer window, because now you know you need to sell the player for what you obviously you want. Then you need to get a replacement in and stuff like that. So yeah, so I think Leipzig in their mind have still got 2 or 3 more weeks until they'll probably be willing to take the price down than what they're currently asking for. Newcastle are desperate to land Sesko as their current star striker. Isak pushes to join Liverpool. The Magpies have enjoyed a nightmare transfer window thus far, being rejected by obviously Delap, João Pedro, and bro, this list is crazy. Must have Delap, João Pedro, and Buemo, Ikitike. Oh yeah, the goalkeeper as well, Trafford. Obviously, he went to Manchester City instead. But United have now But United know they now must act fast to land Sesko, despite Sky Germany's reporting that the striker is set to become the 6th player to reject a move to Newcastle this summer, as he favours a move to Old Trafford. United report adds will look to both sell Jadon Sancho and Garnacho to help fund the move for Sesko, who's expected to cost more than £60 million. So yeah, that's kind of the thing in terms of Sesko probably waiting now, and obviously Leipzig being happy to wait as well. Until obviously they get in a proper player for him, because again at the minute it's looking like Newcastle really kind of want the situation sorted, whether they sell Isak or they buy obviously another kind of striker. They're still after Whistler as well from Brentford. That's kind of quieting down a little bit. So yeah, I think it's all dependent, man. Big ol' Garcia says Man United hesitant when Villa said £60 million for Watkins, 70 million plus add-ons. Looks like Newcastle might sign Sesko. Yeah, I feel like, again, Man United, even though it's coming out and saying that they don't necessarily have to sell, I think from like in terms of like a bloated squad wise as well. Because again, you can only register 25 players, and then obviously the rest will kind of be going on under that like kind of homegrown quota. So yeah, if you got a load of players that are similar to requirements because you keep buying, and you can't sell them, you're going to be paying a load of players to play in the reserves basically because they can't be registered. So yeah, that they have to get rid of them because of that reason, and also wages wise and obviously transfers coming in. So yeah, man, I think like the article said, Garnacho and Sancho might help facilitate them getting a striker in, especially if you could get combined 60-65 million for both. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it makes sense. Carlos says our owners brought Chelsea debt free, by the way. Sky and the system glazed Man United and Liverpool. Sesko choosing Man United is better for his career, in my opinion. Interesting. I think you know what it is for in terms of Sesko, in terms of Man United and obviously Newcastle. Newcastle are in that kind of zone where there's kind of no expectation that they're going to improve or get better than they are, in terms of like you're not really used to Newcastle being in the Champions League on a regular basis, especially the last obviously 10, 15 years or whatever. So it's only been the last couple of years where they've got into the Champions League. So you don't know if it's kind of sustainable that they keep this level of team. They keep obviously the level of manager they've got. They could obviously go back to how they were before, especially with the new rules that they can't just spend willy-nilly every single season. So I think that's definitely something to take in mind if you're a young player. And again, Manchester United, we bannered them. They finished 15th. They've been terrible the last couple of seasons. However, it's still Manchester United. There's still going to be an expectation, whether it's this year, next year, 15 years, 10 years, whatever, they're going to be back near the top, innit? Because it's Man United, man. They can't be a world where they don't strive to be near the top of the league, especially with obviously their legacy and history the last 20 to 25 years. So from that long-term perspective, if you're thinking Man United sooner or later will be back at the top, I can help them get there because they're used to being there, obviously not recently in terms of the league-wise, but in terms of in history, then yeah, potentially that could be the better move for you. But yeah, I think Newcastle, and I think about this as well, and I think Dom, big up Dom. Oh, Dom's in the building as well. Big up Dom. He says, morning all, just snipping in quickly to show my support. Big up yourself, man. Appreciate you in the building, of course. I do wonder if Newcastle will hold off Liverpool for Isak if they don't get a top 9 in. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Dom. I feel like, again, a lot of these deals drag out because it's just the selling club need a replacement in or on the verge of coming in. Then they can release whoever obviously they're trying to sell. Because again, the one thing you don't want is to release your top tier player and now you're scrambling for a replacement and can't get one in. And that'll be mental. Obviously, the fans will obviously lose it. So yeah, I feel like for a football team and perspective, it's obviously very, very crucial to get in a replacement, get in a star player in through the door, and then you can go on from there, man. But yeah, so but like Don was saying, I feel like again with obviously Sesko and stuff like that, potentially you're gonna have to wait until someone obviously makes a proper bid for him, and then you can obviously anticipate whether he's going to be willing to move to said club. Again, if Newcastle are the only team that come in and bid for him and bid what Leipzig wants, he's probably going to go to Newcastle because I think Leipzig in themselves, even though they're willing to wait at the minute, they'll have their own timeline, man. I don't think they're going to be waiting until the end of the transfer window, personally, because again, they need to get a replacement in for said striker. So yeah, it's all in right roundabouts, man. But big up Dom for being in the chat, man. Hopefully you're well, and yeah, big up yourself for being in the building, my bro. Big up Garcia says, but Sesko wants Champions League football, so Newcastle is better. Yeah, for the short term, I guess it is better. But again, would you bet on Newcastle getting Champions League football next season? I'm not too sure. But you can say the same with Man United. Do you think they're going to get Champions League football next season? I don't think so, personally. So, but yeah, I feel like it's just long term. Who do you think is going to be back at near the top more consistently or quicker? Whether it's Man United coming from where they're coming from at 15th or Newcastle kind of maintaining where they are, is going to be very difficult because, again, this transfer window shown they struggle to attract not even top tier players, good level players when they're competing with other teams, whether it's Chelsea, whether it's obviously they've lost out to Manchester City with some of the signings. They've already lost out to Manchester United with Mbuemo. So yeah, it does seem like they do struggle to compete with kind of these teams that are around them with these signings. So yeah, from a long-term perspective as a player, you might think, you know what, I don't think they can attract all the good players to help obviously the team go forward on a regular basis. Maybe one or two here and there because they have got good players, of course, but on a regular basis, I'm not too sure. Big up AR. He says we need to sell Simicast. Gomez is injury prone. Morton, Elliott, Ramsey, Williams. Yeah, there's a lot of players there that you could potentially definitely sell. But you've still got another month, to be honest, bro. You've still got another month. There was reports, obviously, it's all quieting down that Andy Robinson was going to go to Atletico Madrid. But that seems to have stopped. So I don't know what's happening with that, whether he's staying now. But yeah, you definitely need to sell probably one of him or Simicast for sure. And then, yeah, then you've got obviously Kirkes and the other kind of fullback you keep. But yeah, the other players, I mean, with the Gomez one, I find it doubtful that you're going to sell him for the simple fact that he's one of your only 3 centre-backs at the club, really senior ones anyway. So, yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult for you guys to sell anyone else from that defence at the minute until you get reinforcements because even though he's injury-prone and you can't really rely on him, it's too tough. I think, again, him as a body in there, whether it's minimal, I think it will definitely be key for you obviously trying to get another centre-back and having them as the final kind of the 4 that you go with for the season, man. Removing my comment, Carlos. Why was it factual? If we sign Gay, our defense is set for years. RS is Liverpool centre back and CDM. Newcastle need Mourinho. anyhow, doesn't have the pull to attract these guys. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is a tricky one, man. Because again, they have got good players before, but again, there's always players that are on the maybe on the brisk or on the cusp of being really, really good. Like Tonali had obviously a very good season at AC Milan, and then was on the cusp of maybe becoming one of the top midfielders in Europe. And then obviously Newcastle pounced and got him. Bruno Guimaraes was kind of similar as well on the cusp. I think it was like Leon, I think it was. And then obviously Newcastle got him. So they're very good at getting people on the cusp of really, and then giving them a chance in the Premier League, and then they show how good a player they are. But whether they can get someone that's established, this is why I thought they were going to get Sesko, because I thought he's on the cusp potentially due to obviously people reporting how good he is and stuff like that, potential, etc., etc. That's kind of signing they normally get. But yeah, it just seems like Man United are probably just in his head a bigger club, even though they're 15th. You could say that's a one-off, new season. They could definitely push back into the kind of top half Champions League places with me in the team. That's how kind of players work or think. So yeah, man. But in terms of attraction, man, maybe a big manager or bigger manager in terms of name-wise would help. Maybe, to be fair, maybe that would be a thing that kind of lures people in a bit more. Because again, players do work on personal relationships with managers, man. We've seen it in the past. Guys like Harry Redknapp bringing back the same guys, man. Peter Crouch, Jermaine Defoe, team after team. Crankier was another one. He just used to bring everywhere. Portsmouth, Tottenham, whatever. So yeah, the managers do have certain relationships with other teams. Conte's the same as well. Loves Lukaku, for example. So that is a thing. So maybe again, they do need a top tier, higher name manager to try and draw in these kind of top European targets or talents into the club. Chris says if Newcastle get a replacement then Isak deal gets done rapidly. So I can't blame Newcastle for waiting for a replacement, but they will want to keep will they want to keep a player kicking up a fuss? Yeah, I agree with you, bro. I think again, when you look at the player and obviously him not turning up to training, I feel like he was definitely being told that listen, if you want this move, you're gonna have to make a statement that you don't want to stay there because they're not going to be any rush to kick you out because obviously you're the best player. So if you say you're happy where you are, they're going to say he's not for sale, he's happy, but you've got to make sure that you say that you're not happy. But yeah, in terms of replacement, they have to get a proper replacement. This is Newcastle in the Champions League as well, by the way. So there's going to be a lot of, not expectation, but a lot of like kind of hope going into the season with them being able to play better teams in the Champions League in Europe and obviously trying to do something in the league. They still have a solid team, like Carlos said. Again, when we played them without Isak, it was a very tight game. And again, we just about won it. So, and that's without their kind of main, they didn't really have a kind of main striker, really. It was Alusa, who obviously is a young kind of striker that played up front, who played very well, actually, to be fair. So, yeah, they've still got a good team, but they definitely need to improve on it for sure. Big up AR, it says, I understand it was a friendly and Liverpool coming back to LFC coming back to Liverpool. Liverpool did look good against HIJACK. Yeah, listen, again, to be fair, bro, it is a friendly, and I feel like these are what friendlies are for. This is what I'm saying. You want to have bad performances. Not all of the friendlies, obviously, but you want to have some performances in there where you don't look amazing, so you know what to improve on, work on. Because again, it can go both ways. You can look amazing. I remember when Arsenal had an amazing preseason in, I think it's 2015, and in the first game we lost to West Ham 2-0, and it was like out of nowhere as well. So yeah, I think it definitely can work both ways. Sometimes you have a really good preseason, and then you start the season off flying. So, but yeah, I feel like to have a couple of performances in there where you don't look particularly great allows you to improve and obviously work on things that you don't look great on before the start of the season. Because again, if you have that kind of perception that you're amazing, the first game, if someone can obviously target your weaknesses, and then you end up losing the game out of nowhere. But really, it was there in the preseason, but they just wasn't targeted. But yeah, I agree. I feel like the balance, you're trying to get the balance right. I feel like with the midfield and obviously playing a number 10. But this is kind of the first kind of proper number 10 you've played with Liverpool. I'm talking about probably since Coutinho. So it's been a while since you played with that kind of that center kind of player there. So yeah, I think it's going to get a bit used to in terms of how you are positionally out without the ball and stuff like that in terms of your midfield structure. So, but yeah, I think overall, I think you'll definitely improve based off obviously playing more games with the team you're going to be playing with. Big up Darwin says on Sesko to Newcastle Man United. I think Newcastle are better choice right now, in my opinion. But Man United already improved. There's no guarantee they'll return to the top. We're 20 years from our last title. Liverpool took 30 years in the past. Very good point as well, bro. Very good point. In terms of where I think he's better suited, I don't know, man. I think it depends because with Newcastle, even though obviously they're in the Champions League right now, I don't know, man. I feel like they're not pretenders, but I feel like they're not going to be there long term. I think there's more chance of Man United going past them in the next 2 or 3 years, even though I don't like Man United. But I feel like there's more chance of them going past them than obviously Newcastle staying where they are. Because I feel like with Isak, they're kind of not even peaked, but I feel like this is kind of going to be it. If you can't obviously keep Isak and obviously push on and get some more good players and then try and push on to the top 4, top 3, top 2, then it's going to be very difficult when you lose a player like that to try and replace him and stuff like that. Then you're there just trying to maintain where you were last season with Champions League games, like I said, an extra 8 games where we've all seen it. When your team's in Europe, you have a game against, I don't know, let's just say it's Fulham at home, where normally without a Champions League game you win, you end up dropping points at home or you'll lose. And you're like, how have you not? But again, mentally fatigued, physically fatigued from the Champions League game. Like it always happens. So yeah, I think potentially I can see why he would want to go to Man United. If I'm being honest, not to say that Man United are going to be back. You're right. It's no guarantee they're going to be back at the top straight away. But from maybe a player perspective who is not really probably a fan of English football, just knows about probably the big clubs, he's probably thinking, well, even though Man United are not in Europe, they're a bigger club than Newcastle by far. Like, so from in terms of like a legacy point of view, maybe he's thinking from that, I can really cement my own player legacy playing for Man United, potentially leading them back to glory and greatness, where Newcastle don't really have a blueprint of that. So it's kind of like, yeah, you're playing for Newcastle, but into the long term, is it going to be a thing where he's going to want to leave Newcastle in 2-3 years' time, for example, because they're not matching his ambitions, for example, where with Man United, even though, again, they might not be up in the top end region with obviously how they're playing, you always know they're going to throw money at it every single season, whether they can or they do it in the right places. They're going to show the ambition to try and get back to where they were. So, yeah, man, I think it's all about, obviously, preference as well. But either way, I think either move is going to be a good move for him because, again, he'll be playing in the Premier League, whether it's Newcastle in the Champions League for one season or Man United playing in the Premier League as well, man. So, yeah, no one cares about friendlies. Liverpool lost all preseason friendlies in the summer 2019. and won the league at Cantor afterwards. If you take for any seriously, then I seriously question people's IQ. Yeah, it's what I'm saying, but like, I don't care about the results, Ferry, at all. It's more about the performances, really. If I'm like individual performances, tactical performances, are we trying like new things, etc.? Because again, like you said, teams can lose a load of games and then win the league or win major trophies in that same season. Because again, it can go either way, man. So I just think it's about play performances, fitness, stuff like that, rather than the actual results. Yeah, obviously it's great for the fans to have a bit of momentum. You win game after game, but again, the ultimate game, there's no point winning all your preseason games and then you lose your first game of the season, man. So yeah, man, I feel like again, what is important is kind of the preseason games, in terms of the performances and obviously fitness for me, bro. Big RS, it says, which made Rio's ball control more impressive, to be honest with you. I mean, the pitch was terrible. I did see that goal as well. Very good goal, very good finish. 16 years of age. So, yeah, another good one coming through. I saw Pedro slam 2 on his debut against Flamingo in the semi-final, but HS Tiki Toki was tripping over the ball against. That is nasty. Where Japan 11. Carlos on smoke, man. He's on a trolling mode. I'm telling you, he's on a trolling mode. Rio stolen from Cobham, says Carlos. Looks like Rodrigo to Liverpool is a Diaz replacement with a laughing emoji. Listen, Rodrigo to Liverpool as well. The pressure is on Bali to listen. Honestly, if you get Rodrigo, because I said I can't even rule that out. Because again, I thought when you got Ikitike after getting Verts, there's no way you get Isak. You're probably gonna get Isak now. So you got to get Isak, Verts, Rodrigo in the same window. The expectation on Liverpool is going to be crazy. I can't lie. People are going to be talking about trebles, doubles, like minimum 2 trophies, 3 trophies, 1 major at least. You know what I'm saying, with that kind of transfer window? Because again, even though potentially maybe the balance of your actual defense and midfield might not be right, people are just thinking attackers. You got so many good attackers. You're going to be winning all because you're going to score loads of goals. That's how people like obviously put things in their brain, man. So yeah, the pressure is going to be on for you to win a few trophies. I can't even lie. Big ol' RS says I think PRF will sell up. They're looking at upping stake in Atletico Madrid. Interesting. Very interesting, bro. But yeah, the pressure is definitely going to be on you guys for sure, man. Big up everyone in the building, man. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe. Yeah, I think I've gone through this already, but yeah, big up everyone in the building, man. Let's go on to some Arsenal news now. And obviously the talk of the town is again about this man here. Crystal Palace sent a new message to Arsenal over Eze transfer fee. So yeah, a lot of talk about Eze over the last probably week or so, especially now that obviously Gyökeres is officially joined Arsenal, the striker. So Arsenal and Crystal Palace have been involved in recent club-to-club talks over the transfer of Eze. The Gunners have been heavily active in the transfer market and have already spent close to 200 million on 6 new players. Victor Gyökeres, following protected negotiations with Sporting Lisbon, was the latest big name addition, and the profile centre forward is now in line to make his debut against Tottenham on Thursday, which is today. Obviously, make sure you guys tune in for the watch along later on. I think I'm going to do about 20 past to 12:30. So yeah, that should be good. Mikel Arteta, however, is still far from done, and Arsenal's attention will now turn to the thrashing out a deal for to sign the Palace star man. The 27-year-old is understood to have indicated he's keen on a move to the Emirates, and personal terms are unlikely to be an issue. It is well known that the England international's current contract, which has 2 years left to run, contains a release clause worth around £60 million, which could rise to 67.5 if bonuses are met. That clause is set to expire come the start of the Premier League season. Okay, interesting. But even if Arsenal haven't agreed a fee by that stage, Palace's valuation of the starman would not change. So they're being pretty bullish in terms of what they want, the kind of deal they want to do, etc. In any instant, according to The Guardian, Palace want at least 35 million up front, which has sent Arsenal back to the drawing board. So yeah, also the media obviously are kind of reporting this. Again, I feel like there is kind of a willingness from Crystal Palace to negotiate. Otherwise, they would have just shut down these kind of talks completely and just said, pay the release clause, or we're not going to be entertaining any kind of club-by-club talks. They're not done that. They're still entertaining it. So I feel like potentially, just like I said about obviously Sesko and Isak, and obviously Dom said a couple of nights ago on my podcast, True Gunner podcast, that this could be potentially be relied upon Crystal Palace getting a replacement in before they kind of sanction any move for Eze. So yeah, that would not surprise me if I'm being honest, because again, we've literally just seen it with Gyökeres, that kind of holding up of the deal the last week or so. because they didn't have a striker in place. So yeah, it says sporting director Andre Bert's focus in recent months has been on centering, bringing in new blood, extending deals of key team players. Should Arsenal wish to pursue Eze, Berta may need more certain players on to raise funds. Required funds, sorry. Fringe players like Fabio Vieira, who's on West Ham's radar, Leandro Trossard, players who could be sold, with obviously Zinchenko, Reece Nelson, and Jakub Kivior having been linked with departures as well. Following the Palace's FA Cup victory in May, Oliver Glasner said he was given assurances that his club would get their business done early, but that has not materialized. I feel like, to be fair to Crystal Palace, they've dealt with a lot with this kind of whole Europa League kind of dealing, having to get lawyers involved and solicitors and stuff like that, trying to fight their case, putting in an appeal. That's kind of like dragged it on, and also that has definitely affected their kind of long-term budget, because again, your budget in terms of being in the Europa League compared to the Europa Conference League is definitely going to be different, because again, you get more money winning Europa League games, qualifying for the next stages, etc., compared to the conference. So yeah, I feel like that's definitely dictated and slowed down their window in terms of income, and potentially stop teams like Liverpool or Arsenal or other teams like maybe potentially Man United getting some of their star key players, because they can't afford, or they don't really know how much budget they're going to get to replace said players, because they don't know what competition they're going to be in yet. So yeah, kind of a little bit of a drag, if I'm being honest. Crystal Palace are currently on pre-season of Austria, where they played Mainz on Tuesday. Obviously, even though all the players are still here, we haven't made the most of the transfer window yet. Obviously, that's what Glasner said. I was promised that we would be more active and bringing new players earlier this year. So yeah, that squad is pretty thin, man. It says, as of now, I have 17 outfield players. I hope we don't lose any more. If that happens, we could get 4 new ones on deadline day like last year. Another false start is possible. So yeah, it's basically saying if they're not prepared, then potentially they could have another, because they did have a bad start last year and they end up picking it up halfway through the season. That could obviously happen again, especially if they lose their key players. Big up everyone in the building. Make sure you guys like on the video and subscribe. Big up Rory, man, my brother, man, in the building, man. Big up Red RD, Red Road, all of that good stuff. Hopefully you are well, my guy. It says, bless up, bro, 100%. Seeing as Man United are in rebuild phase, Sesko would have more room to grow. At them lot, however, do they learn? One promising striker in Serie A to someone in the Bundesliga with the eye emoji. Yeah, this is what a lot of their fans are actually saying, in terms of a lot of them wanted Ollie Watkins compared to the two, because again, they were linked with him, linked with Sesko. But I think they are kind of sick of the kind of waiting on a striker to really develop. They're kind of doing it with, they tried to do it with Højlund. They're kind of doing it with Zerski, even though he's not a goal scorer. But again, it's someone he's a young striker that can get better and stuff like that. I think for them, obviously they've already kind of done it with Cunha and Mbeumo. They're kind of certified kind of Premier League players who can score a lot of goals in the Premier League. With that striker, I think they kind of wanted the same ilk, and then you can have a Zerski to learn off. For example, if you want to keep Højlund, he could be the striker you learn off, for example. So to get another potential striker that's learning, because again, no one knows guarantee how he's even going to adapt to the Premier League. Some strikers play really, really well from coming from a foreign, obviously, league and country. Some players really struggle. We've seen it before. So it is going to be one of those ones where you're kind of hoping on potential, really, that he can translate what he's doing in the Bundesliga and not only bring it to the Premier League, but improve on it. Because I don't think a lot of Man United fans would be massively happy if he came here and got 13 Premier League goals. I think maybe for his first season, that might be okay. But if that was the continuation where he was just getting 13, 12, 15, 14 throughout his tenure, I feel like they would probably want a replacement that would get more goals. Because every fan wants a striker that scores a plethora of goals, 20, 25. Like, that's what every fan wants. So I don't think long term they'll be happy with that. But yeah, big up yourself for the question, man. And yeah, be very interested to see where he goes for sure. Big up Luis Garcia says Newcastle have added Rodrigo Muniz to their list of attacking options as Isak edges closer to Liverpool after agreeing personal terms. So yeah, that'll be very interesting to see what happens with that. Big up Dom. He says Newcastle and Villa are really good examples of how hard it is to go from mid-table teams to contenders. And to be fair, shares that what a good job Arteta has done, but he now must deliver. Listen, I feel like with the job obviously Arteta has done at the minute, I think there's definitely an expectation, and it's been an expectation last couple of seasons that yeah, we should be in a position there where we are winning trophies now. So I feel like it's going to be a crucial season for Arteta, because again, a lot of pressure from the media. Your Gary Neville's, your Carragher's, your Paul Merson's, they're already questioning whether he should be there long term, and they weren't doing that before. So it's definitely a little bit of a shift in the media wise. But yeah, in terms of obviously Aston Villa and Newcastle, in terms of being obviously contenders, I think it's very difficult for them because they don't really have that kind of star name team in terms of a team that's got legacy players for the last 10 to 15 years that people always know and love around Europe, man. I think they definitely have struggled with that for sure. Not being in the Champions League on a regular basis as well. Especially while Villa hadn't been in it since the 80s, I think it was. Obviously Newcastle since like 2003 or 4, something like that. So yeah, a long time for both of those kind of teams to be out of the kind of elite competition, man. So yeah, it is going to be a massive struggle when it comes to obviously making that jump, that leap. I feel like you definitely need some kind of star, either players already there, or like Carlos said before, you kind of need a star manager, man, that can really be the law, that can really draw in top level team and teammates, and obviously level players that can really then improve your team as a whole. Otherwise, you are kind of looking at and keeping the kind of same standard of kind of players season in, season out, and you don't really elevate, as well as obviously other teams getting better players in and obviously getting a bit better ahead of you as well. Big Luis Garcia says that Liverpool want to bring in Rodrigo for £50 million. No way he's going up for that less, man. It's going to be like 70 or 80, I think, at least 70 or 80, man. I think he'll definitely be that kind of price. I will be very shocked if it's anything less than that. I'll be so honest. Very, very shocked, man. Big up everyone in the building, man. Make sure you guys like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Obviously, a bomber was dropped yesterday, exclusive by David Ornstein. Chelsea have reached a total agreement with Ajax to sign Gerald Hato, subject to Ajax supervisory board approval. Fee above the €40 million plus a sell-on. Pending green light, 19-year-old defender to travel to London for a medical and join Chelsea on a deal until 2032. Man signing a 7-year deal, you know. That's crazy. But yeah, 19 years of age. And yeah, obviously very, very highly rated around Europe. Again, very, very experienced as well. Played 111 games for Ajax already at 19, which is a lot of games. Think about that. That's the equivalent of what if a season, no, I mean, their Eredivisie is even less than obviously the 38 games, plus obviously Champions League games and stuff like that. That's like the equivalent of like 4 or 5 seasons or something like that. That's a lot. That's a lot of appearances. So yeah, man, if you're playing 30 or 40 games a season, man, that's at least 3 seasons. He's probably been playing since 17 on a regular basis, man. So yeah, very experienced for his age for sure. Played in Europe as well. I think he's playing in the Champions League, but he's definitely playing obviously in Europa League as well. So yeah, could be a good signing. Obviously, backup cover for Cucurella as well. Someone that can play centre back too. So yeah, I feel like a backup at that kind of age group is very ideal because again, they can learn but not really be expected to be in the starting lineup because they're still young. But then they can learn in training and obviously learn in other games where they come in, fill in when there's a couple of injuries, suspensions, etc. as well. So yeah, overall, I think he's going to be a good player for them for sure. Big up, it says Real wants Konate. Could be one to look out for. Konate hasn't signed a new deal yet. Remember, he's in his last year. Liverpool have obviously made kind of a thing about this, doing this. Obviously, last season having 3 players in their last deal. 2 ended up signing. Trent ended up leaving. Konate is going to be the same. So yeah, very interesting. One to look out for sure. Big up Carlos, who says that Isak 350k a week. Salah and Van Dijk 400k. HS Tiki Taki 200. Verts 250. Rodrigo 350. They're going to implode. That is that way. And this is what comes with. This is what actually comes with obviously getting these Galactico signings. I know fans are just like, just get them in. They're amazing players, but in terms of long-term financially, going to be difficult, man. I can't lie, because again, Salah and Van Dijk, they're going to be on that 400 for another 2 years. Yeah, Verts 250. Rodrigo is going to be like 350, 300 at least. So yeah, man, it's a lot of money, bro. There's a lot of expectation as well in terms of being able to justify the wages and obviously the transfer fees. If they don't win the league, minimum win the league. Like people are going to be expecting them to win the league, get to the Champions League final, win another cup with that kind of team, that star team. And again, football is a crazy thing. It doesn't always work like that if you get loads of attacking players. Bless me. We've seen it with the Galacticos, with Ronaldo, with Raul and Zidane and Figo. You're thinking this team, Beckham, and they didn't win the Champions League. With all of those kind of players, somehow they didn't win it. And then you've seen it before with obviously Mbappe, Messi, Neymar. Ronaldo, when Man United had Ronaldo, Rashford, when you've got all these attacking star players, it's like the chemistry is not chemistry, and like again, it just seems like there's too many cooks in the kitchen kind of vibe. But again, it could work. It definitely could work because they're all fantastic players. But it's going to be very interesting to see the chemistry and dynamic of the new attackers for sure. Big up ST. Tops with a big 4K subs. Congrats, bro. Build up yourself, brother. I appreciate your support in the building, man. Appreciate that, man. Make sure you guys like up the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. But yeah, appreciate that kind of congratulations, my brother. 4K. Big up everyone that's already subscribed. If you're not subscribed, you guys know what to do. But yeah, been really happy with obviously the progress of the channel, and hopefully can provide some more new content for you guys in the coming season. I cannot wait. We got Tom Ford in the building. It says Newcastle are embarrassing with transfers. They're probably going to miss out on Sesko. That is kind of the idea, or the kind of the feeling, bro, that potentially Sesko is going to go to Manchester United. I feel like it's been tight that he's potentially waiting for them to sell a few players, which again would be a massive indictment on obviously Newcastle's transfer runnings so far this summer. Again, missing out on a plethora of targets. Trafford is now gone to Manchester City. That's official, as well as Mbuemo, Cunha. Who, bro? There's been a lot. There's been a lot, to be fair. There has been a lot. João Pedro was another one as well. They missed out on too, as well as Nketiah as well. So to add Sesko to the list is kind of crazy, if I'm being honest, man. But potentially that could be a thing. That actually could be a thing. Man United are definitely trying to sign him. Whether they can afford him or not is another thing, though. I do feel like there's going to have to be a compromise when it comes to Manchester United and Sesko in terms of the fee that they potentially want. I don't think they're going to pay 80 million euros all in. I just can't see it, man. Even if they sell a few players, I think they're going to want close to the 60-65 million pounds all in my opinion, man. Obviously, this is obviously a source here. So it's still possible for Manchester United to fund a move for Sesko without needing to sell Højlund. They could even finalize the Sesko transfer before offloading anyone, as long as it's completed ahead of next year's PSR deadline. So yeah, I'm guessing that's obviously put into account how much money Leipzig want, which is the 80 million pounds all in kind of thing. So yeah, they're saying they can afford him, but I don't know, man. I feel like even though they can afford him, I don't think they'd want to do it without selling players. So it still could be a thing where they're waiting, really. And is Højlund going to be on his way out? Do you know what I'm saying? He did score last night. I just seen they just won 4-1 against Bournemouth in America. So and Højlund did score the opening goal. So potentially he might be staying, man. He might be staying. Big up ST was here from day dot when you did the streams with Colin and Chigwave. Oh, big up yourself, bro. My EastEnders, man, too. Don't forget, with a wink. Proud of you, brother. Appreciate you, ST, man. Always been a real one, man. Appreciate you, the kind words and good and stuff like that, and your support from back in the day. Man said it, Colin. Big up Colin, man. And obviously Chig, RIP to Chig as well. Every time. So yeah, man. Bro, that's old school. That's Google Hangout days, man. So yeah, big up yourself, brother. I'm glad to see you're still in the building and supporting your guy, bro. But yeah, onwards and upwards for sure. Big up Godfrey says, big up Tops. Hope you're good, my friend. Big up the community. Big up Godfrey, man. Good to see you in the building, man. Glad to see you here, out and about and active, my brother. But yeah, big up yourself every single time, my bro. Big up ST said that's a big outlay of money for Sesko, considering they still need. This is what I'm saying, man. They still need a goalkeeper as well. I'm not. They have been linked with a man from PSG, Donnarumma, but I don't know how secure or how legit those kind of sources have been. But yeah, they do need a midfielder. I feel like that midfield kind of balance is a bit off with Ugarte and Bruno. I feel like they're missing a little bit something. Casemiro's in there as well, but I don't know if they're going to be happy with that kind of midfield three options. I know they've only got one game a week, so potentially that might be they may be able to make that work. Sorry, but I don't know, man. I think they definitely need some more work around the middle of their kind of squad. So if they don't sell adequately, they're looking at like a 200, 250, 300 million pound summer without any kind of sales. So without Europe as well. So yeah, very, very interesting whether they can afford to do that, man. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Fabrizio Romano says Donnarumma and his camp do not rule out a stay at PSG. I feel like the kind of noise about him leaving is just kind of a ploy for him to get a new contract, if I'm being honest. Remember, he's only got 1 year left. His contract expiring in 2026. He could stay and compete for his spot and then decide his future in the next months. So yeah, man, potentially. Obviously, Gyökeres, there were many more clubs involved, but I wanted to come to Arsenal. It's the best club for me. It wasn't an easy deal. Some people spoke to the media all the time. They thought they were protecting the interest of the club. So yeah, finally that kind of transfer saga is over, man. Because yeah, that was a transfer saga that was dragging from the start of June really up until mid-July, end of the July, where obviously he got confirmed. So a long time, man, nearly 2 months, but thank God he has signed and he's an Arsenal player. We got to state it would have been over for everyone if they said Bruno 400 mil. Thank God he stayed. Yeah, bro, I would have been pushing him out the door. I would like, thank you for your services, but we cannot turn this 100 million. This is going to be what helps us rebuild the squad. Literally 100 million through the door from a player that potentially, again, you're not going to get that kind of heat for, again, because he's what, 31, 32, whatever it is, in his early 30s. So yeah, it's someone that obviously is not going to demand a massive transfer fee outside, or sorry, inside Europe. So you're getting a team that were willing to pay that, man. Brother, he had to be, listen, I would have been like, look, do us a favor, man. Do us a solid. We can get the money in for you. We can replace you with that money and also spend money on other areas like the goalkeeper situation and stuff like that. But yeah, Man United is a very interesting kind of topic because, again, with the kind of formation they play, they need very particular players to play in that kind of hybrid of a three at the back with obviously 2 10s and stuff like that. Ahmad is more playing like a right wing back at this moment in time. So yeah, very interesting to see how they go about it. But Amarin's going to have obviously a chance to really get some points down on the board. If he could potentially beat Arsenal on the first game of the season, that would definitely put him in a bit more higher regard than he's obviously regarded in right now. But bro, if they have a bad start, it's curtains, man. He's going to be out of there. He's going to be out there quick. Big up my bro, man. Aaron, man. Big up Tops, my guy. Big up yourself, brother. Good to see you in the chat, man. Make sure you guys go over and subscribe to Aaron. Doing big things on his channel himself, man. Definitely have to go on your channel soon enough, my bro. But big up yourself, brother. Hopefully you are well, my guy. Good to see you in here, man. And yeah, make sure you go over and subscribe to Aaron as well. Big up ST says, then Bruno had the cheek to say that Man United don't need the money. LOL, brother. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I feel like he just wanted an excuse to kind of justify him staying. But yeah, in reality, man, they definitely need to move him on and try and get someone else that's better. For sure, man. But yeah, he stayed, and we'll have to wait and see what they do on the first game of the season. Arsenal, definitely going to be a game where all eyes are going to be on both teams to see what they're going to be producing, obviously during the start of the season. So for me, hopefully Arsenal can get a good positive start. We don't really normally win there. Only 2 wins at Old Trafford in only 2 wins at Old Trafford in 18 years, I think it is. So it's kind of a terrible record. So yeah, we need to make a statement, man. Go there and have a competent win and then go on from there, bro. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Big up Carlos says I'll be back later for the Flopperez hate watch. That's crazy, man. Big up Carlos as always, man. My brother in the building, man. Big up Aaron says straight back at your Tops, brother. Come on, bro. Always love, man. Always love, man. Come on, Aaron, man. My guy, you know. Smash up the likes, people. Come on, you guys listen to Aaron. Smash up the likes. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. All of that good stuff, man. But yeah. Big up Aaron every single time, my bro. But yeah, man, obviously, in terms of the Arsenal news and obviously, again, Eze through the door, over the line. Like I said, man, I feel like this is very crucial for us to get this over the line. I know there's been a lot of talk about whether we're going to sign any more players, whether we have to sell players. But regardless of when we need to sell or buy, the fact that you bought Madueke through the door for £52 million kind of takes the sympathy from you selling players. Fans are just going to be like, look, you decided to buy him at that period of time. You need to then go on and try and get Eze, who we definitely need 100% because he can play in the 10. He can replace Odegaard when he's out of form or injured. He can play in the 8 if you don't want to play Declan Rice. He needs a rest, or you don't want to play Marino there, or if you want someone a bit more attacking, a bit more aggressive in terms of obviously dribbling, passing through the lines, etc. So yeah, man, I think that this is a crucial deal. And obviously Eze wants to come. He's a player that obviously has played for Arsenal with the academy as well. So bro, the number 10 is literally right there for him. The number has been freed since obviously Smith Rowe went to Fulham. So I don't know, man. I think even Arsenal surely can't mess this kind of deal up. I just don't see how it doesn't get done in the near future, man. Only if Arsenal, obviously, again, decide to walk away from the deal, because I feel like Crystal Palace are willing to sell Eze with 2 years left. I don't think he's going to sign a new deal. They probably want to get some money in for him so they can put it back into the team, especially them being in Europe. So, yeah, definitely is a deal to be made. But I just don't know, man. I just don't know whether Arsenal going to do it in time before the start of the season or anything. Big up Aaron says Eze would be a big signing, mate. And he's a big... This is it, bro. This is it. I completely agree with that, bro. Like, again, you seen Eze last season. He scored in the FA Cup final, scored in the semi-final. He scored at the Emirates. He scored at the Etihad. He scored at Stamford Bridge. He scored at White Hart Lane. He's literally scored. And this is for Crystal Palace, by the way. Last season, or the season before, obviously last season just gone, he scored the winner at Anfield. So he scored at every big six team, apart from Man United, and in the cup final, semi-final, and in the final within the last 18 months, 2 years. So yeah, he's a player that he definitely can be a big game player, and the goals he scores are their top level goals. They're goals from outside the box, they're dribbling runs, they goals from either foot as well. So they're volleys, he can score a plethora of goals. So I agree with Aaron, man. I feel like We've not got a lot of game changers, in my opinion. We've not got a lot of guys that can really just score off the cuff. Someone that can really just score out of nothing, really. You look at Ethan Nwaneri, potentially Saka can do it now and then. Well, after them two, man, there's no one else really with a good like ball striking ability. Declan Rice, to be fair, I'll put my hands up. Declan Rice, I forgot about obviously his free kicks against Real Madrid. Sorry, so he's another one that potentially from outside the box can obviously score out of nowhere. But after those kind of three players, and Ethan doesn't really even start all the time, you're kind of looking at who else can really kind of provide from outside the box and have those quality moments for sure. Big up Aaron Manny says we need them players that can produce. Let's bring him home, Tops. Big up yourself, brother. I completely agree with you, bro. We need to bring him home, bro. He's Haaland. He wants to come back, bro. Can you imagine the adulation from the fans just in terms of getting someone that knows the club, like he knows it inside and out. He's someone that would have dreamt as a kid to play for the club. Obviously, it didn't work out. He has to take another route. But what a story that would be, man, for him to obviously have a really good career, win a trophy for Crystal Palace as well, by the way, and be able to come back to Arsenal and be part of the kind of starting lineup team to try and get us over the line in a major trophy or a major tournament or whatnot. So, yeah, I agree with you, bro. Like, I think we have to try and get this deal over the line. I think potentially this will be just as much excitement to get Eze in as a Gyökeres in, because, again, I feel like his skill set and what he can provide for the team and his versatility and him being a game changer in terms of what he can do going forward. Not only just his goals, obviously his assists as well, and his ball carrying too. We've not got many top level dribblers in the team really. So I think him being a key factor on how we break down low blocks is going to be massive. And we've seen it obviously in preseason, Aaron, as well, bro. Like that left-hand side has definitely not improved. It's still kind of the same kind of weaknesses on that left. Very, very disjointed, not really cohesive in terms of having players overlap, underlap, stuff like that. So yeah, I think pointing him in even left wing, left 8 in the 10, because he's someone that kind of shifts on that kind of left-hand side anyway, even though he's right-footed. And I feel like, again, in the team, we've got a lot of players who are left-footed, who are really comfortable on the right. You look at Saka, you look at Ethan, obviously you just bought Madueke. You've got Odegaard, who plays on the right as well. Like, we've got a lot of left footers who always occupy the right, but we've not got a lot of good right footers that always occupy the left, really. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Declan Rice is not comfortable there. Martinelli's not great there either, kind of gets isolated. So you're looking at kind of bringing in a player that is obviously predominantly right-footed, even though he's good with his left, that can obviously play on that left-hand side and be very, very comfortable there. And I feel like you get a better balanced team if you do that. So, yeah, man, 100%, we definitely need to bring him home for sure. Big ol' ST, it says, bring Eze and maybe another left-back, and we're sorted. I like Calafiori, but worried that he's too injury-prone. I think we need to bring in Eze and a left winger, bro. I get what you're saying about the left back, and potentially we might need another left back in. But again, there's been suggestions that Mascara could potentially play a left back. Obviously, I don't know about that. I've never seen him play. Or you got the likes of not even only Mascara. Obviously, Timbers played there before as well. Whether you want to do that with obviously him being the right back, again, is another up in the air kind of moment. But again, I feel like there is obviously more options there. For me, Madueke, for me in my head, in my brain, I'm counting that as a Saka backup. He's someone that can play on the left, but ideally Saka backup, someone that can play minutes for Saka when Saka obviously needs to recover from his hamstring injury, etc., needs rest, etc., like that. So for me personally, I still think we need a left winger. I know there's been obviously conflicting reports. I think Ben Jacobs came out yesterday and said that potentially it might only be Eze and that's it. Obviously, all the people like I think Gary Jacobs come out and said if we do sell Trossard or Martinelli, there is room for a obviously last-minute ploy for a left winger towards the end of the window, as well as getting Eze. So, yeah, there is conflicting reports, but obviously we'll find out soon enough in the next month. But, yeah, for me, bro, getting Eze and a left winger, and then we're good to go, in my opinion, man. We've addressed all of the attacking areas about time, because, again, it's been 3 or 4 years since we've not done it. And, yeah, we're good to go after that, man, in my opinion, bro. Big ol' RS, he says, when you get Eze, Liverpool move for Rodrigo. Watch, this is what we waited for you to commit to Gyökeres before moving for Isak. LOL. Listen, it wouldn't surprise me, bro. It was kind of, and people were saying at the time, it's kind of suspicious timing how Isak's coming out and saying he wants to leave now after Arsenal have pretty much secured their striker, and obviously other players have secured their striker as well. So maybe, man, maybe, but we'll see. I don't know if obviously Eze's deal is dependent on sales. I think it's more the fact that we want to get rid of some players out of the wage bill. Obviously, people like Reece Nelson on 100K. You've got Zinchenko on 150. Like, these are kind of players that are squad players that are not really going to get used on massive money. So you kind of really need to get rid of them. If Burke can try and somehow get Gabriel Jesus, even on a loan, even if you get someone to pay his wages, I feel like that could free up another signing just because of the wages are going to be gone for a season. Do you know what I mean? And again, Jesus is not someone I thought we could get rid of at all just because he's injured. He's not even playing now. He can't. I don't know when he's going to be back. Obviously, ACL injuries can range from 6 months to 12 months. So he could be back literally next year, calendar year 2026. So to get him off the wage bill, and he's not even obviously an active player, would be a very, very huge plus for us to try and go in and get someone for sure. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see, man. Big ol' Aaron. He says if we was to somehow sign Eze and Rodrigo, played a 4-2-3-1. Ruby, Rice, Zubi, double pivot, SA10, front three, Rodrigo, Gyökeres, Saka. My whole outlook of next season would change. Yeah, 100%, bro. If you're looking at that team, listen, man, that team is you've got literally everything, man. You've got star quality, you've got a proper striker, you've got someone that can obviously help Saka in terms of goals and assists. You've got Rodrigo, who's a transitional threat. You got Zubimendi, who can play through balls. You got Rice, who can protect. Like you got Eze, who can score from long range. Like you've got literally in terms of an attacking point of view, you've got a lot of different kind of avenues there and different kind of cogs in that kind of team, man. So yeah, that will be class. If I'm being honest, bro, that would be very, very class. Obviously, one can dream. I do think we'll probably get Eze. The Rodrigo one is the one I'm like, I just don't know. I just don't know if, because for me, I think to get Rodrigo, we're gonna have to sell Martinelli, and there's no one really after him, bro. There's like I can't see any kind of. I've been doing obviously transfer shows for the last 2 or 3 weeks, but there's been no one really that's been really after him like that. So again, it would take a massive sell, in my opinion, to get maybe a 50-60 million pound for him to then obviously go and get Rodrigo, especially because Rodrigo, and this is what I was saying about obviously with Gabriel Jesus with the wages, we need massive wages off the bill, bro, because again, Rodrigo's going to want 250, 300k, something on those kind of regions for him to obviously move club. For us to really afford that, if we're being honest, man, considering our wage, the state of our wage bill at the minute, a couple of people have to really kind of hit the bricks, man. Some people have to go. Like 180k for obviously Martinelli, obviously is an issue. 150 for Zinchenko, 100 for Reece Nelson, even Fabio Vieira's on like 70, 80. All of these kind of add up, bro. So we definitely need to make some changes in that regards, man. RS says, you really believe Arteta will drop his captain, his golden boy, and admit he was wrong? I said, LOL, nah. I mean, yeah, listen, you know what it is, RS? Even though, again, I probably agree. I don't think he's going to drop him. However, I feel like if you've got an option there, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to drop him if he's putting in stinkers. That's probably the difference. I feel like he's got away with it a little bit because, again, there's not really been a adamant cover. Obviously, you've got Ethan Winieri, but he's a kid. He's a youngster. He's still 17, 18, still learning his trade. So I expect him to play 60 games is pretty unrealistic, in my opinion, considering, again, he's still developing in the game. That was his first proper season, Premier League season. So, yeah, I feel like before, and again, it goes back to, obviously, the Havertz situation where people want better than Havertz, but in the squad, in terms of striking wise, we didn't have better until we've got Gyökeres now. So I think when it comes to obviously, because again, Arteta does have his favorite players. You're looking at Saka, you're looking at Havertz, you're looking at Odegaard. But with the Odegaard and the Havertz situation, when you've got Eze and Gyökeres in, bro, imagine we go to, I don't know, I'm trying to think, Brentford, and we lose 2-0. Havertz starts, Odegaard starts, and they both have terrible games. And you got Gyökeres and Eze on the bench. They come on for the last 10 minutes, don't really impact the game. All the fan cams afterwards, or everyone that's talking about the game, why are we not playing Gyökeres? Why are we not playing Eze? All of a sudden, you got a bit of pressure there on next game, you have to start them, or the game that you're thinking about playing Havertz, and you kind of think against it because you've got the options there where fans can visually see. We've got better players on the bench that can literally make an impact better than the ones that you're starting. Like, there's no literally excuse. You can't get away with playing Havertz, him stinking out the joint. We've just spent money on a striker. We've just spent money on Eze. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think potentially that could definitely switch when we get players that can actually take their positions. Because at the minute, or from the last couple of years with Arteta in charge, it's literally just been the starting 11, and then that's kind of it. The players that are on the bench are nowhere near the level kind of thing. So yeah, big up Jake says hi. Big up yourself, Jake. Hopefully you are well. Big up ST. I think Madueke will be our left winger, to be honest. Yeah, I think, again, that's why I feel like everyone was going mad about the signing. Not probably because, one, it stops us from getting a proper left winger, and two, we spent a lot of money on the player that's obviously not really worth it. And again, it's in a position where we kind of needed a near enough world-class player, someone that's top-level class, to go with Saka and the striker. That was kind of the mindset, me going into it. That was not a position we could have afforded to play about with, mess about with, get someone that's on the cusp, someone that's kind of trying to learn their craft still, trying to learn their trade still. We need kind of a ready-made left wing, and that's proper. Do you know what I mean? If Madueke is the backup, that's a bit different because again, our backup's not always going to be as good as your front player. So yeah, that one again, I can understand because again, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I've been moaning about Saka not getting protection, not getting a backup cover. So yeah, when obviously someone brings him in a backup cover, if that's going to be the case, then cool, I'm fine with that. Obviously, it's still a lot of money, but I'm still fine with him being the cover. But when he's the actual left winger, that's when I've got a problem, bro. That's when I've got a problem. Absolutely not. LOL, just what I would want to do. I would love to see. Yeah, I agree with you, Aaron, man. That would be my thing as well, bro. Like, again, even if it's a thing where Odegaard's getting rotated in, because, again, I still think Odegaard's a good player, but he's had a stinker of a season last season. He wasn't good enough. And if he has something like that this season, then you are looking to see, you know what, is he actually good enough to be in this team long term? Like, again, we've seen it before where we've got players in and you just feel like we kind of moved past you now. Like, you've done your bit, you've done your due diligence, and we've seen it with Zinchenko. Obviously, Jesus was a bit unlucky with injuries, with his knee injury, because I feel like he could potentially have been a really good signing when he first came in. But again, when you're looking at him, it's like we've kind of moved past what you kind of do now. Like, in terms of, again, Jesus was very good around the box, but he missed those chances. We kind of need someone that kind of finishes the chances. Zinchenko was good at building up play, but couldn't defend. It's like, now we kind of need someone that can defend now. Like, again, I think you kind of get into that mode where, even though obviously every player's got weaknesses, but when those weaknesses are highlighted every single game, it's like we kind of need to move past this now and go for kind of players that are a bit more complete, even if they're not as good as obviously Zinchenko and Jesus' attacking parts, but they're more solid all around. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you could argue that Zinchenko's a better passer than Miles Lewis-Skelly, for example, but then you would say that Miles Lewis-Skelly physically obviously surpasses Zinchenko in terms of strength, in terms of quickness, being able to recover, stuff like that, physical duels, all that kind of stuff, which you need defensively, especially as a left back to compete with a winger. I feel like Miles Lewis-Skelly is better than Zinchenko already. So yeah, I think you definitely have to put that into account for sure. But yeah, man, it's definitely one to think about as well. I'd have Arteta and Odegaard out the door within an hour if it was my choice. We were laughing emoji. Big up Aaron, man, my brother, you know. Was it out the door within an hour? Crazy. Arteta is the man for the job. ST, man. Come on. We've been here already, bro. ST. He's on a trolling thing. He must be. Madueke or Eze is your left winger with a laughing emoji and a thumbs up. Listen, man. Yeah. You're probably going to be right, bro. Listen, until the window's done and there's definitely confirmation that we're going to sign no more players, I feel like, again, if we do get Eze in, it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of the thought process around, because you always get that kind of signing in and then you kind of get that kind of a little bit of silence like a day or two afterwards, and then it's kind of Arsenal not expected to do any more business. Arsenal's business is done in terms of income. You kind of get that brief a couple of days after. So be very interesting to see if we do get Eze, whether that's going to be the case. There might be a thing where they kind of drag out Eze towards the end, so then you kind of are more more accepting of it being the final kind of deal because you thought you weren't going to get him, kind of thing. So yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? But it'd be very, very interesting, man. I said fair enough, Aaron. Big up Aaron, man. 100, mate. Getting Jesus off the books would be a good start. Yeah, 100%, bro. Again, and for me, it's one of those ones where I definitely wasn't expecting it at the start of the season. I'll be honest, man, because he's injury prone. He's injured now, so it's like, who's going to buy an injured player normally? Like, especially for the wages, he's on 265 wages, man. So we're getting a player that can't play. He's on loads of wages. It's crazy. So yeah, bro. It would be a very good start. Whether we can get it done or not, I don't know. But yeah, I think he definitely would add a bit of space for some potentially for us to get maybe someone massive at the window. We still got links with Anthony Gordon. Very highly unlikely now they're selling Isak, but you never know. Liao's been obviously put in the picture. I don't know if that's official kind of links or reports. I think that's probably kind of like fan-made. But definitely, Anthony Gordon's been mentioned by Ornstein, Ben Jacobs, and a couple other people as well. And obviously, Rodrigo's been mentioned by Ornstein as well. So, yeah, they're kind of the two that we've been linked with. But, yeah, it'd be very interesting to see what we do afterwards, man. Can't see him selling Havertz or Martinelli Sunday. Yeah, you know what, Aaron, as well, like, this is kind of an interesting kind of take as well, because I feel like we're going to have to start having conversations with Martinelli and Havertz next season, because they're both going to be in, I think, 2 years left. I think both of them, obviously that season, I think. So, yeah, they're on massive money. So, in my opinion, I don't think either of them have warranted a pay rise. For me, I think both of them have been paying too much, if I'm being honest. So, you're looking at that. Are you going to give him another contract with more money? That, for me, would be ludicrous. There's no way you can give Havertz another new contract with him earning more money than he's earning now will be mental. So you got to look at it thinking, is it a thing where we need to start selling these players? So maybe next season is kind of the season where 2 years left. We're not going to offer you a new deal. We don't want to pay you this kind of money. We're going to try and move you on, kind of thing. So definitely two to watch out for. I don't think obviously it's going to be this season. No way. But next season, man, because they're going to have to make a choice. They're either going to let these two assets go for minimal money because they're going to run down their contract and it's going to be 1 year left and then potentially on a free, or they're going to commit to sign them to a new deal, which I just don't think they warrant the wages. I think we can get better players on less wages personally. So yeah, or they're gonna sell them. So one of those three is gonna happen, man. So we'll have to wait and see for next season, brother. But yeah, big up yourself every single time. Realistic outgoings will be Zinchenko, Reece Nelson, Vieira, Lokonga, Kivior, then maybe Trossard and Jesus off the books would be a bonus. You know what? I would actually keep Kivior for the simple fact, bro. And I get why you would want to sell him. Because, again, he's probably one of the kind of defenders or players we could get probably the most money for. You're probably looking at maybe 25, 30, 35 mil, depending on, obviously, who wants him. But for me, bro, I don't trust Calafiori's kind of injury record. And obviously, Gabriel, man, this season, I feel like we're going to see kind of him in and out the team. I just don't I mean, he's not trained again. Obviously, I think this kind of week and a half since, obviously, he had that niggle in training. I think he's going to be in and out of team, bro. So I think you kind of need someone that in terms of injury-wise, is just reliable. Like, and I think Calafiori he's just not reliable. Even though he looked decent there as obviously centre-back. But I just think, again, he's going to have his own injury kind of problems this season as well. So you're looking at who's going to be paired with Saliba. Are you going to play Mascara there? He's just joined the club. He's 21. Is he going to be at the level for us to challenge for a title? I don't think so. I think he's more of a backup to kind of learn off our centre-backs already and then go from there. So, yeah, because I just can't see a world. I mean, I might be wrong because Timber did it. But, again, look at the, obviously, aftermaths of Timber playing loads of games. He obviously got injured in another position. And then, yeah, he had to have surgery. I just think asking Gabriel to play 60-plus games pretty much after he just had a hamstring surgery, after playing probably the last 4 or 5 years at Arsenal, pretty injury-free for the majority of the games, 90 minutes. They don't really sub him off or kind of rotate him that often. So, yeah, I think potentially, unless obviously you sell Kivior and get another centre-back replacement in, then yeah, cool, for cheaper or whatever. So that, and obviously he would be better. Then yeah, cool, man. But yeah, for me, I'll probably keep Kivior. The rest, I definitely would try and move on. Trossard, Jesus as well. Lokonga, Vieira. Lokonga has to be a permanent signing, man. Sorry, a permanent departure. Vieira, I would say the same. No more loans for these guys, man. I feel like you have to make a stand and say, you know what? We need to sell these. We've loaned Vieira out for a season already. I think we've loaned Lokonga for like 3 seasons, something like crazy like that. I'm sure it's like 3, 2 or 3, one of the two. I know he went to Luton, went to Seville. I'm sure he went to another club, but I could be wrong. So yeah, so that's one that we need to get rid of. Nelson's been on 4 or 5 loans as well. So yeah, Zinchenko, again, the wages wise, you have to really kind of sell him if you're going to obviously make him depart, and obviously Trossard as well. So yeah, man, it's a mad one for sure. Big up RS says who in the world wants to pay Havertz 300k. Can't see you ever selling him, to be honest with you, bro. The thing is, we're gonna have to sell because again, the contract negotiation is gonna come up. This is why one of the reasons why he left Chelsea, because again, they weren't willing to pay him what we are obviously paying him at the minute, which is 285. We're gonna have to up his pay rise. He's gonna want more money, bro. He's gonna think, well, I've been an integral part of the team in the last 2-3 years. I deserve to be on more money than I'm on. I deserve a pay increase. Whether it's going to be 3.2, 3.25, 3.50, 3.35, like who knows? Whatever Rashford's on, maybe they're going to match that. But yeah, that'll be crazy if that happens, man. And because again, if you're doing that, he has to be a starter. There's no way this guy can be on the bench. And he has to for free. Like there's no. I'm trying to think of another club that would give a player a pay rise when he's not going to be starting as many games, not like every single game. It's crazy. So I think potentially we could sell him, man. I'll be honest, man, because I just, my brain can't think of a scenario where he either starts and what position it would be, because no one wants to see him in the 8, no one wants to see him in the 10. He better not start up front where we've just got a new striker. So their kind of positions are kind of null and void unless Arteta changes this formation. And also as well, like having someone on that amount of money then obviously impacts your contract renewals for your Sakas, for your Salibas, for all these kind of guys you want to keep on. Declan Rice is another one that potentially in a couple of years' time or a year's time, he's going to need a contract renewal. So again, what money is he going to be on? So yeah, I think personally, man, it could be a thing where we sell him and try and get someone a bit cheaper in terms of wages wise that can pretty much do what he's doing in terms of being a backup striker that chips in with a few goals, can come off the bench, can play a few games, start a few games when a striker needs a rest or is injured or whatever, and go on from there. Big up Jake. He says, how are you feeling, Tops? All good, brother. I hope you are well yourself, my guy. Good to see you in the chat. Big up Chris. Says Newcastle need to realize who they are, thinking they are a Big Six team when they're not. I respect their fans, but one trophy in how many decades? Away, man. Stay in your lane and own postcode. Obviously, Chris is not happy. There's a reason why Newcastle are getting rejected. Sorry, the truth hurts, Geordies. Obviously, laying it down. Fafana at Lyon can cover both wings. Would have been cheaper than Madueke. Yeah, younger and already better in my opinion. Again, very good point, man. And this was kind of the frustration with the Madueke deal. You look at like Lookman, for example, who you could argue is better than Madueke now as well. Going for 40 million euros. Now people will say, well, that's probably the going rate in obviously in the Serie A league, because again, there's not a lot of money. If a Premier League team would come in for him, then it would be a bit more money. But even so, even if it was 60 million euros, that's still around about the same amount we paid for Madueke. We paid 52 million pounds all in. So again, even if you would have paid that for Lookman, I would have what's the word? I would have accepted it a bit more, because it's like, again, it's someone that at least has got a little bit of European pedigree, scored in the Europa League obviously final, a hat-trick. He's played a lot of games for obviously Atlanta, scored double figures, I think, every single season. I think it's like 15 goals on average in the league for Serie A, which is very, very good for Atlanta, who are not the biggest club. So he's very consistent there. And someone that can play literally across the front three. He can play up front, he can play on the left, he can play on the right. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just feel like Arteta wanted that Nico Williams profile, which Madueke is similar to, someone that's unpredictable, very good in transition, very quick on the ball, can obviously go from from back to front very quickly, because again, in terms of his dribbling and his pace, is very quick and very direct. But again, very inconsistent. Sometimes he can obviously have a really good kind of start to the game and he can score a hat-trick like Wolf. But then for the next 10 games, you don't see him. He's not really anywhere to be seen. He doesn't really impact the game. He makes the wrong decisions in terms of where to shoot and stuff like that. Very frustrating in terms of decision-making, similar to Martinelli. So, yeah, that's kind of and this is why with Madueke, and it's not anything against the player in personal. I was more annoyed about Arsenal in terms of why you're going that route, spending that kind of money on that type of player. That was more their issue rather than the player, because the player is the player. He's 23. Obviously, he wants to improve himself, etc. I get that. But for Arsenal to be in that position and have that money and to go for him, I just feel like, again, was kind of the wrong move and wrong decision. But we shall see, man. Big RS says you wouldn't have been paying a rival as well. Yeah, exactly. And again, you could argue that we've actually helped Chelsea get Xavi Simons over the line, or a Hater over the line, or one of these other players over the line that they're linked with. So again, that's something you got to factor in for sure as well, bro, because you don't want to be keep giving Chelsea money for them to improve their team. Like, you just don't want to be doing that, innit? Do you know what I mean? Whether people say they don't care about it and stuff like that, but you're gonna care when they're above us eventually, because we've been funding their kind of sales. Do you know what I'm saying? You're gonna care after that. So yeah, man, it's crazy. Big up everyone in the building. Big up Aaron says, yeah, I agree, mate. Califury is turning into a bit of a liability. Yeah, bro. And again, it's one of those ones where I don't want to write off a player straight away, because again, you've got to give a guy a chance. But again, last season, heavily injured in terms of his knee injury and obviously calf muscles and stuff like that. He gets a lot of muscle injuries, which is a bit of a worry. That means, again, maybe his body's not up to the kind of high intensity of playing week in, week out for a team, man. And he's becoming a little bit of a kind of Tomiyasu kind of regen. Obviously, you got to give him, I'll give him the season, of course, but from the back of my mind, I'm just thinking, you know what? Like, if you had to bet my house on him being fit for the entire season, I won't take the bet. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking he's probably going to get injured throughout the season somewhere, somehow, and miss a huge portion of the season, whether it's Christmas time or New Year's Day or whatever the kind of period it's going to be. I think he's going to miss like maybe 4 or 5 weeks with some kind of knee injury or calf issue or groin strain. Like, I can just tell, man, it's going to be an issue. So again, to have that as your kind of starting or backup centre back, with your starting centre back having that kind of that hamstring issue, because again, like I said, with Gabriel already picking up a niggle, this is what it could be like throughout the season, guys. Like, in terms of him being available for a couple of games, and then you hear that he's gone down in training or gone down in a game warm-up or something like that. We're away at Bournemouth and he's gone down in the warm-up, and he's you know what I mean? We don't want to take any chances. So you kind of need someone that's kind of a steady kind of guy, not in terms of obviously performances, but more in terms of availability. And Kivio's your guy in terms of that, man, because whatever you say about him, whether you rate him or not, he's always available. He's always there to fill in that left back, fill in that right centre back, fill in that left centre back. Like, at least he's active and about. Whereas a lot of these players that we've had in defence, man, you're looking at the likes of Zinchenko. He's quite injury prone as well. Kind of Fury's getting into that stage too. Obviously, everyone knows about Tomiyasu. So yeah, these kind of guys are not really been relied upon quite a lot. Even when Tini was here, unfortunately for him, he obviously picked up a few injuries as well. So yeah, man, these guys, you kind of need guys in defense, especially your backup, to be really more reliable than obviously the guys we've got at the minute. Big up Jake says, I'm good. Thanks for asking, bro. No problem, brother. I love your stream. I like your video. Come on, bro. Appreciate the support, Jake. Come on, 21 likes now as well. Big up DWTT. Hello. Long time no see, brother. Hopefully you are well. What do you make of obviously Liverpool's transfer dealings at the minute? Obviously signing Ekatike, signing Vert, signing Kirker, signing Frimpong, potentially signing Isak, and also linked with Rodrigo. A lot of quality players there. Is it going to be a thing where Liverpool are going to retain the title? What do you think? I make them pretty comfortable favourites, if I'm being honest, man. I think with the manager they've got, he knows how to win the Premier League. He literally just won it. And the team that they've got, even if Salah drops off, because people are saying Salah's going to drop off, he's got the AFCON and stuff like that. Even if he gets 10 less goals, that's still 19 Premier League goals. Remember, he got 29 last year. That's still 19. That's still going to be probably in the top 5 or 6 in terms of goals scored in the league. Because, again, not a lot of kind of guys get in that type of top echelon. You're talking about Mbeumo, Wissa, Isak, Haaland, Salah probably last season, probably the top 5 that gets 19 to 20 goals. So, yeah, man, I think even him dropping off, I feel still like they're going to score a lot of goals. If they get Isak in as well, man, you're probably talking another 19, 20, 25 goals with him as well. So, yeah, could be a sticky one for sure, man. But big up yourself as well. Big up Mr. Battle Red in the building, man. Big up Tippy Toppy Top. Tops, bro. How goes my brother? Oh, good, my guy. Good to see you in the building, man. Good to see you in the chat. And yeah, hopefully you are well, my brother. Hopefully you're good. Good to see you in the community as always. Smashing the like button as well. Well, big up yourself as always, my brother. DWTT, Liverpool window. Hates it. He's got to be trolling, man. He's got to be trolling. Oh, my God. Yeah, honestly, generational window, man. I've not seen a window like this. Potentially you guys breaking the transfer window twice. Oh, my Lord. Lordy, Lord, man. Transfer record, twice. It's crazy work, man. But yeah, big up everyone in the building, man. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel, man. It's been another sick stream as always, man. Talking all things Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United. Where's Sesko going to go? Is he going to be able to go to another top team? Is it going to be Manchester United or is it going to be Newcastle? I'm not too sure. But yeah, I suppose we're going to find out soon enough, if I'm being honest, man. But big up everyone in the building. Big up everyone in the building as well, man. I'm going to try and obviously raid off now. Who's online? Is my boy Shane online? Let me have a look. He's online, man. Let me go and raid to Shane right now, man. So yeah, big up everyone in the building. I'm going to be off. I'll be back later for the watch along for sure. Big up WTT. Also need 2 more incomers to stay close to Liverpool in the window. Yeah, I agree. Again, Eze and the left winger, man. I think we just need a left winger in. If it's not Rodrigo, if by some kind of a miracle or chance you can get him, fantastic. If it's something that's not financially feasible, again, we have spent a lot of money. We've not sold anyone yet. So, again, I'm not unrealistic. I know there's going to be a limit to the budget. I know there's going to be a certain net spend. Obviously, the club, I can't get past, etc. I get it. We have spent 200 mil really net at the minute. We've not sold anyone. So, I'm guessing you could probably spend 250, maybe 300 without sales, maybe at a push. Eze, if you're spending 50, 60 mil, that brings it to 250 without sales. So, yeah, it's going to be very difficult to then spend another probably 80, 90 million on another player without a major sale. So, yeah, man, going to be difficult. But if you can try and get someone else that's a little bit cheaper in terms of wages-wise and obviously profile-wise, then obviously do that as well. We've got Mr. Battle Reddit says one of the two needs to be a competent manager. Listen, man, you already know my thoughts on that, brother. I can't wait for Arsenal to play in Liverpool. See ya. Sorry, my mistake. Arsenal versus Tottenham. I'll be there. Yeah, man. I'll be back 25 past 12. Obviously, kiss off at 12:30. So, yeah, make sure you come back to Teach Us Sports for that. But, yeah, I'm off. I'm going to rate to Shane. Sorry, my bro. Make sure you go over and say Teach Us a raid and all that good stuff. Until 12:30, I'll be back. Don't hate to play at the game. Until next time, people, I'm out. Peace.